A man named Naz walked into Moorabbin. One of the best things for the Saints that ever did happen. This year he exploded, his star on the rise, but his contract was ending. His signature the prize. It got till mid-August, a race against time. He still hadn't signed that damn dotted line. But the St Kilda Mafia and their guns for hire, they secured their man and they landed Nasiah. This is Triple M Footy's midweek rub and one of the happiest men in footy. Lee Don Tanya, welcome to you, mate.
Hello, Wilbur. That's very good to have the poem dedicated to one man.
Yeah.
That just shows the impact that he has had, and it's been a nice week for St Kilda people that don't get to enjoy a lot. Just to have a moment for ourselves has been quite nice.
Daisy and Damo, welcome to you on this Wednesday.
Hello, Great to be here, as always, Damo. Will, good poem. A little bit sort of hallmarky than usual, but pretty good nonetheless. And
are you using AI for poems yet, or are you doing it all?
No. That was just a bit Banjo Patterson, that one. It was all dedicated
it was
to the
all
one.
like a grade 4 sort of love romance. Roses are red, violets are blue.
First time that just one person was the focus of the entire poem in the history of the midweek rub.
An ode to Naz.
Yeah, well done.
But congratulations, Joey.
Well done, Joey.
Well done to you and your club.
Well,
we put the heat on you this time last week. Oh, Daisy did anyway.
Yes, we did.
And you responded. You just upped the offer a bit and made the rivals think about their offers and what the ramifications might have been.
We got there. Good
we
result.
saw Rui out there and Rui with Ross on the agenda setters Monday night. My God, it was sickening.
What about we walked in having got a coffee downstairs, Days, and he, Joey and Rui were just together and just the eyes were just almost watery, weren't
Usually
they?
we come in and we sit down and we all sort of talk and we shoot the shit and how you going, what's going on. Joey was just perched in his chair. Arms crossed, leg across knee. If he had a macchiato and a cigar, it just would have been perfect. I would have actually come in and kissed your hand. Hey, Daisy, I beg you for Nasiah. $2 million.
We can always find the money. We can always find the money.
How much of it is cash?
We can make it work. Just a couple of phone calls and we can get there.
What did you threaten both Port Adelaide and Adelaide with?
Just a couple of phone calls. Just a couple of phone calls.
Did you make those calls?
I didn't. We got
or
other
someone
people.
Loosely linked to the club?
Stephen Baker may have just made one visit. Just a one little knock on the door and, it all got
But
done.
they don't deal in phones. It's in person. You can trace a phone.
Encrypted WhatsApps and
the
signals and
an encrypted WhatsApp.
And you've spoken to Ross? Have you?
I haven't. No,
okay.
No, I haven't. But as we said, it is good for the club. We need something. They need some excitement and to build off, and it is. It's exciting, and we can go forward. And
did you see Ross on Monday night?
I did watch it. Yeah,
it was awesome,
yeah.
and I thought the fact
he was
that
chuffed, wasn't he?
He was genuinely chuffed, and so he should have been. It's the biggest signature probably in the club's last 30 odd years in terms of a significant signing to stay. I loved how keen he was to pretty much declare war if Naz wanted to leave.
Yeah, wasn't he?
Would have got catastrophically messy or whatever he said.
Nasty.
Nasty. And he had that little look in his eye we've seen before. That would have been scary. So it would have been fascinating. But in the end, as I said, they had their concerns, but never in doubt.
It was a love in that interview, wasn't it, with Ross?
With Rui. Rui was there, arm in arm, the photo that went up.
And Kane, who was very strong the previous week when Eddie Maguire and the Tuesday Footy Classified crew had Ross on, and he felt that there were just some balking and sidestepping and short-stepping of questions that should have been asked, and then he had him on himself.
Did Kane ask the hard ones?
I didn't see one hard question. He was clearly, I thought he was unmuzzleable, but he's clearly been muzzled in that particular interview. No, it can only be the only explanation for him balking at
these bullets are getting picked up by a lot of publications at the minute, so be very careful.
No,
jokingly
there's
went with
nothing
a
I've said
little
there that I
update
haven't already said. I've said this many times, but I thought, and he certainly proudly proclaimed publicly many times, that he's not one to be told what to ask and what not to ask, and he didn't ask anything hard on
Surely
Monday
that's
night.
just an understanding of reading the room. It's a time to celebrate
what
rather
normal
than...
people in media would do, but he normally would do what he wants to do, and he didn't. So, yeah.
Wow, Kevlar required.
It's amazing how it changes, though, wasn't it? A week ago, St Kilda was a mass exodus and everyone was leaving, and now you're hearing the reports of some more players coming to the club potentially and all this other stuff. It changes very quickly, and that's why you can understand clubs get frustrated, because a lot of it is just narratives without necessarily truth behind it, and now they get the chance to try and build and see if they've got 2 years, I think, to play finals, to be playing finals and making a case to keep.
And that's a fair time frame too.
It is. I think so. Yeah, I think 2027. The narrative will be around St Kilda and how successful they can be that season.
That nobody knew and it was kept in house is massive. Yeah, these sort of things, and we know how many clubs leak and how some of the clubs that are down the bottom with these things, they love to get it out so everybody can celebrate it. The fact that this was kept in house until the very last minute is a massive tick. And again, if you're a prospective player going, where do I go now? That is something you certainly take into consideration, because you can meet with full confidence that it isn't going to be spoken about at a press conference or all over the papers.
I know what you're saying. I agree with all of that, but that's due to the player himself and his management. That's more that side of it than the club. They didn't know until they got told.
We spoke to him last Saturday
long before Kaltumi got it.
He thought he was gone. With his body language.
Yeah, and I am the body language expert, which officially makes me none from one.
When's Rabsy back, by the way?
Mid-September, I'm hearing.
You're not happy with this?
No, I was just thinking. Mid-September, is he?
Yeah.
I just feel for him, because before he left, Collingwood were 2.5 games clear on top, and he was planning his grand final tickets, and we're going to have to explain to him when he gets back.
You're writing them off. Geez, you hate
I'm
Collingwood.
just saying they might be in an elimination final as underdogs.
Did we have to order our 200 Club grand final tickets yesterday?
You've got till today, I think, to do it.
Hang on, stand by.
Joey's only on the 300 game allotment, though.
I've ordered mine. Looking forward to it. Not sure who'll be playing yet, but
We'll tell Rabsy mid-October, maybe.
Maybe tell Rabsy to stay away from the grand final.
Predictions to come, as well as fair dinkum or Fugazi, but Damo's news is up next, and Isaac Rankine, of course, dominating the headlines. We'll talk about him next on Triple M Footy's Midweek Rub. All the round 24 predictions to come, as well as fair dinkum or Fugazi, but we start with Damo's news.
Yeah, we spoke about Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera a moment ago. Just from a footy perspective, and let's just talk shop here at the moment. So it does provide impetus now, doesn't it, to obviously bring the Tom de Koning situation into the equation, to potentially and now more lucratively be able to sell the hope for Marcus Windhager. You could get Liam Ryan in as well, as been talked about during the course of the past 3 or 4 weeks. And it does open up, Dace, doesn't it, the possibilities of this club now being very, very much sellable in a way that it wasn't going to be had the reverse happened.
Absolutely. And we sort of touched on it off the top, in the fact that it becomes a real prospect now, because you want to play with the best players. And as he's one of those, he's shown the excitement. You got TDK there now, so if you're an on-baller, you're going, there's some pretty good service. And the rest of the side, the spare parts, has, probably slightly disrespectful in saying that, have been solid enough. So the only concern for me, obviously, is the amount of cash that those two are going to get, and then how you plan around that with what you're left to go and get. But well done to St Kilda. It's the biggest, brightest tick that I've seen from them in a long time.
We need to timecode this show because it's 10:09 on this Wednesday. The AFL is yet to formally hand down the sanctions for Isaac Rankine over the homophobic comment he made against the Collingwood player on Saturday night. It's taken a while. I don't know how it's taken until the Wednesday at the very least for it to be adjudicated officially and formally. We know that the Crows have tried and attempted basically since Sunday morning to mitigate the outcome of this. And it's going to start and stand as a 5-week ban by way of what the AFL has told the Crows. I don't hold it against the Crows for trying to argue extenuating circumstances. People can have their views on that, and I get all that, but this is high stakes with a grand final potentially at stake. But I think what it does do is, upon the closure of the AFL season, I do think the game itself, headquarters needs to work out, is this going to be the way forward for use of language? Now, no one is condoning it, and even people at Adelaide Crows have conceded this word should never, ever be used, and they will cop it when they do get the final adjudication. But do we want the outcome to be 5 weeks every time, or is there another way of dealing with such matters? It's been 2 years now of similar sentences. I've got no drum with it being 5, but I think it is an industry conversation to be had.
The other option is to financial sanction, and I think a lot of the sentiment around sort of the general public is if you just fine players with cash, it's, do they really learn a lesson? Does it really hurt them? Yes, it hurts your hip pocket, but the use of language like this and then to potentially cost your side a spot in a grand final, or you miss out on winning a grand final, I think that just shows the serious nature of where it's at and where it should be. And I've got no real issue with it. Does the Adelaide Crows trying to get off with extenuating circumstances show that they don't take this seriously, or is it a really last minute? Like,
I take the view on this, Days, because again they're not getting ahead of themselves. But if it is 5 weeks, that takes in all possibilities on playing in a grand final. And I think as a club, you owe it to any player to work backwards from that being a worst case scenario.
But if the circumstances are you were targeted by a player who knocked you out in a footballing act, or you were targeted by other players on the ground in a situation that was purely about football that had nothing to do with race, religion, sexual orientation, or anything like that. That's just part of the game. Those things are part of the game. The route that ended up going down, that isn't. No. So I think that, to sort of put that forward as a case is something that probably shouldn't have been done. So did anything cross the line said to you?
No,
it didn't.
I'm with you.
Right, we put our hand up and we cop our whack.
They do have a right to at least
to argue it. And it's lawyers
whether you
argue
agree with it or not, and I don't agree with it either, but you've still got, I suppose, a right to at least make it.
So how come it's taken this long, though? So surely the AFL go, okay, this is what happened. It should be relatively clear cut.
I couldn't agree more. They should have almost done this on Monday night, in my eyes, but we know the lawyers get involved, and everything is working backwards from a worst-case scenario on a legal front. That's where this is at even right now, and I'm with you. The provocation component to use of that word, it doesn't count. It should just be, go away. We're not even discussing that. But they've allowed it to be discussed. They'll get an outcome today. Dane Zorko, it's a famous footy story. 23 years of age before he played one game of footy, about to play game 300 on the weekend for the Brisbane Lions, a captain of the footy club, a two-time best and fairest winner. But I'd argue, guys, that the past 2 seasons, he was All-Australian last year, and I think he probably hasn't done much to not retain that this year. He's already got an All-Australian prior to last year. He's in as good a form as he's ever been in. He's certainly more impactful, I think, in 2025 and 2024.
Well, his numbers and his form suggest the last couple of years have been his best for a guy that's won as many best and fairest as he has, and he is crucial to the Brisbane Lions winning the flag this year. So well done to him. He's still got good footy left. It's back to our point we've had for years, Daisy, about these veterans. Back them in. They offer a lot more than people think that they can, both on and off the field, and he's been a star. Yeah,
the ball use is just such a key in the way that the Lions play, but just across the competition.
Is it fair to say, Days, he wasn't always known for the exquisite kicks that he's been using the last 2 seasons?
He went for them every time, I think, which is the difference. Good kicks, you only have to pull off 1 or 2 a game that is the exceptional that others can't do. He went for that 5 or 6 times. It's just you hit the easy, the simple ones, and then every now and then you're required to make one that others can't, and that's what sets you above.
Yeah. Bobby Hill's an interesting situation on so many fronts. There's a lot of personal issues and private issues that he's dealing with, and we'll keep them anyway in this show private. But from a Collingwood Footy Club perspective, it's very problematic, isn't it? Just the one appearance at AFL level since round 15 when he started to deal with those personal issues. It was a game in which he was subbed off in and has not been training regularly now for that period of time. Obviously, round 24 comes this week, and then there's a week of bye before they hit finals. But it is doubtful now that he actually has any impact. I can't see a way in which they select him this week. The narrative from Braden Maynard publicly and Craig McRae publicly, even since the loss to Adelaide on the weekend, suggests he's not going to be considered for this week. And it then does bring into question whether he's going to be seen again this season.
Yeah, and he's so important with the way that he plays. It's hard to know where he's at physically, mentally, where the trust levels are at with the club, whether he does play. But from a pure football perspective, they need someone with his X factor in that forward 50 just to create some things for them because they're struggling with that connection. And if he doesn't play, it's going to be a big blow.
This time of year, you need your best players. And he's the Norm Smith medalist. He's done it on the big stage, and he is one of their best players. And for him not to be there, it's something that just points in the direction for Collingwood that's going to make it a lot harder than probably where they sat and what it looked like 5-6 weeks ago.
Yeah, I love his communication and connection with Jamie Elliott in the first half of the season. I thought they were working beautifully up there, and they've lost that for the last third of it. The retirement officially and the farewell for Kenny Hinkley this week. Port Adelaide versus Gold Coast. They still might have a say in how the finals look for Gold Coast from that perspective. But it's been the worst of his 13 years in the system. He's never once before this year finished with a season with less than 10 wins. He's going to do that regardless of result against the Suns on the weekend. But I still feel you need to factor it into a 13-year totality assessment. And I know that in the Australian sports systems, you don't celebrate anyone other than those who win the premiership in a competition, but I feel he is deserving of great praise, and I think he should be viewed as a successful coach because he took over an absolute mess when he started 13 years ago.
Yeah, no, I do too. I think he deserves credit. I mean, 4 prelims in 13 years. I look at it. You've got to get to a prelim, Daisy. For me, that's me. Get to a prelim, and then, that's your opportunity. If it's like a Final Four, You get in there, sometimes you can start as favourite and get beaten. You can be underdogs, but you've got to be in the prelims. He's done that 4 times, and they've had golden opportunities to get to a grand final. Haven't performed on that day, but I'm with you. 4 prelims in 13 years, one every 3 years. If you said to another club, you can take that for the next 10 or 12 years to play in 4 prelims, you'd take that as a club to give yourself a chance to win a premiership.
Love all of that. Love how his relationship with the players are. Every time the players speak about Kenny, there's a real love and connection. We want to play for the coach, and to have that and to get to the end of your career and still have that said about you is a massive congratulations, and a little 300, 400 grand handshake on the way out the door probably makes the next year a touch easier too, Damo.
It does indeed. And now 2020 was probably the year that he was most unlucky in, when Dusty got him in a prelim, as well as also then getting the Cats the next week in a third Norm Smith medal. But that was the first of the COVID years. They had the chance, and they didn't do anything wrong in that game. They just didn't win the game of footy. Dusty got them late. And
And then the Dogs prelim, was that the year
2021,
after? They were favourites.
They were favourites, and they were embarrassingly bad in that one. Look, last year they failed again against the Swans in a prelim, but the previous week against Hawthorn in a semi-final was arguably one of his greatest performances as a coach.
Huge ladder shaping Sunday on round 24 this weekend on Triple M Footy, and all those predictions are to come. But up next, it's Fair Dinkum or Fugazi on Triple M Footy's Midweek Rub with Joey, Daisy and Damo. Joey, we should be using the arc for boundary line howlers.
Oh, good question. Fair dinkum. If we have it, we might as well use it, but it's just going to be hard to pick which instance you use it for and which you don't. Does it if it only leads to a shot on goal? Is it, I don't know how they're going to do it.
The game would go for 9 hours.
Well, I
That's
know,
the problem,
but
isn't it?
this is
That's
the
the problem.
issue. That's why I'm a bit torn with it, Daisy. What's your view?
Well, again,
what if it's a significant one where they pay the wrong decision for a boundary out of bounds and then it costs a goal?
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, isn't it? Like, for that, but then who's to say if you don't do it for another? That's the whole thing's a mess.
It's going to be a mess.
Why are we so bad at this?
Yeah, I know.
Why every other sport in the world and just seem to just nail it or move on
or at least move on. We dwell on it. Yeah,
it was almost like the free kick that wasn't paid to Rolly Thilthorpe cost Collingwood the game, as in like a free kick on the halfback flank was going to decide the game for them. But we do. We
moments in time.
Moments.
Damo, not to burst the St Kilda bubble, but if the Saints land Tom de Koning, they will have too much money tied up in 2 players.
Fugazi, I understand what they're doing, and they needed to change the course of the club and even the narrative around the club. And again, ideal world, you do not pay $3.8 million for 2 players. But I get what they're doing, and it would be hypocritical of me to have a go at them for that reason.
Daisy, I return to my one from last week. Port Adelaide has one more let's do it for Kenny performance left in them for 2025.
Well, it wasn't there last week, and I think I got caught up. But I'll say that's fair dinkum. Friday night footy, the real home factor, the home ground, get caught up. The Gold Coast Suns with it all to lose and Port Adelaide with nothing to lose effectively. I think they do, but I'd be shattered if the Suns lost. They do only have to win one, which will be Essendon the week later, but that then becomes
But it's a top 4 at stake. To win
but
both,
just get in there first is the big one.
Yeah.
Joey, Dufflecoat time. The All-Australian Committee will make amends for last year's robbery and name Harris Andrews rightfully at fullback.
Yes, take your scarf off. But that is fair dinkum. He will absolutely be in the All-Australian team.
I hope so too.
Damo, despite the loss, we can have confidence in Collingwood again.
Fair dinkum. Yeah, there was enough to like about what they did last week. The fact they surged 5 goals clear, and I know they only kicked 3 goals beyond that point, but it was a grinding game of footy against the ladder leading Crows. Yes, fair dinkum.
Daisy, another umpiring one. When it comes to missed free kicks like the 2 blatant throws in the Adelaide game, sometimes we just need to accept that umpires are going to be blindsided.
Yeah, that's fair dinkum. It's easy to look at the replay, and the Ben Keys one was, players have been doing that for forever and a day. The little flick out and you put the hand on it to make it look like it. The Keys.
Watching that live, that one, it looked like handball.
Oh, mate, and correct.
All done it.
And you'd be stopping that. You'd have to be 100% sure. The Keane one, that's blindsided because that was a genuine offload. But no, there's going to be mistakes. And those little ones, I think you're fine with. It's sort of to your point before about the Thilthorpe one when it's out of play and you actually kick the ball and it's obvious to at least 4 people. That's when you should be pulling them up. But these other ones, mistakes will happen and umpires will be blindsided.
Joey, Harry Sheasel's 54 was the performance of the season.
Fugazi. I think there's been better individual performances. Take nothing away from what he did. It's a great achievement. But
Nasiah
well,
against
that's
Melbourne.
a fair one to throw up. I'll be throwing that one up.
Which one of Naz's? No, there's been some brilliant, unbelievable performances. I reckon Isaac Heaney's had a couple. Cosy Pickett's had a couple.
Jeremy Cameron has as well.
Jeremy Cameron. But full credit to the Shees. He's a superstar.
Damo, Freo's 15 wins was enough to finish third last season. If they blow it on Sunday, we can still consider their season a success.
Fugazi, I will be slightly sympathetic to whichever club misses on 15 wins, but there's still 8 teams or 8 spots available, and that's the challenge that they're yet to be able to be proven to meet.
Daisy, Essendon will become the first team in history to lose twice in one round.
Fair income. Look, well, yeah, it's hard to see it going any other way. Horrible year for them in terms of injury and what they've been dealt with. So I'm sure all Bombers fans, coaches, players, everybody just wants to get through to next Wednesday night, put a line through it and move on.
All the round 24 predictions, including those 2 Essendon games and tips, are up next on Triple M Footy's Midweek Rub with Joey, Daisy and Damo. Catch all the games for round 24 across Triple M on the Listener app, starting with Thursday night footy, Essendon versus Carlton. Joey, that is at the MCG.
It is. I hope the Bombers continue to have a crack like they've done in recent weeks and make this competitive. But Carlton, no pressure on them, Daisy. They look much better. They just play some free-flowing footy, and they looked good last week, so they should win again.
They should win.
Yeah, they should.
Sam Walsh is a good player too.
Sam Walsh is a gun. We know that. And he's somebody. I just want to see him have a good run at it. But bloody hell, if they continue to win when there's no pressure.
Damo, the first of 2 on Friday. Collingwood versus Melbourne, also at the MCG.
Yeah, Melbourne was badly exposed by the Hawks last week. I'd be staggered if Collingwood doesn't really hone in on what it was that the Hawks did against the Melbourne. I know they don't have the same forward line as the Hawks do to expose them, but Collingwood just has to win and will.
Story for me, Pies will win, will be Nick Dacos. I think he'll need 3 Brownlow votes to win the Brownlow. So that is going to be a big watch in this game. Can he dominate? He'll be running around trying, and hopefully he does get 3 votes. I'd love to see him win it.
Pies by how far, and the percentage could be important.
Ooh. Daisy, the second of those Friday night games, it's that Port Adelaide Gold Coast game. Let's do it for Kenny.
Yeah, let's do it for Kenny. I hope not. I've been on the Suns all year, and this again is another step in the right direction if they can come up against a Port Adelaide side. They just have to weather the storm because then their system and their effort will be good enough. I think there was some circumstances last week as to why they came out a touch flat with some off-field whatever you want to call that, happening. So I think they come out and they get it done comfortably and upset the party, but well done to Kenneth.
Yeah, I'm big on the Kenny component to this match. I'm tipping the power.
I think Port Adelaide can do it for Kenny too for 2.5 quarters. And then Gold Coast will run over the top of them and win the game. So
it's a good test for them, isn't it? It's a finals type of element they've got.
They're going to have to be on, absolutely.
Joey, Saturday afternoon, North Melbourne, Adelaide at Marvel.
Ooh, 2 in a row.
Here they come, North, making their move. Adelaide comfortably.
Crows.
What have they got? 1, 2. If they win 12 of the next 1, Crows.
Damo at the MCG, Richmond versus Geelong.
What are we saying? 75 plus, Cats?
Are you writing off Jezza for 100 now?
No.
Still giving him a chance.
Yeah, I am.
How many does he need against Richmond?
He's going to need 8 as a bare minimum.
I did a bit last night on it. They were so much better without that focus on him. Him getting up the ground, the percentage of which he played
pretty good with him
forward.
with that focus.
Yeah, but it was just sort of creeping into the...
I know what you mean.
I think it's a blessing in disguise for them that they're not chasing the 100 anymore.
But
I think
Shannon Neal's not playing.
Yeah, that's right.
He's out suspended. So there's one less down there.
Might be Danger that cashes in this week. Danger might be due for
I wouldn't play Danger. I'd rest him again.
Jezza kicks 9 and it's all back on the table.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Daisy, West Coast versus Sydney, Saturday night at Optus Stadium.
I don't know why, but I give West Coast a chance. Last game of the year, get themselves up. I'm tipping an upset, the West Coast Eagles.
I'm not going to lie, I probably won't tune into this game. So Sydney will probably win.
Do the work, Joey. Come on.
Get up early.
I'm probably not going to see much of that one.
It's a Foxtel game, Joey.
Oh.
I'm assuming.
It's Super Saturday.
Yeah, Super Saturday. I'll be watching the other game.
No, Sydney had its balloon pricked last week by the Cats, and but they'll be wanting to end the season with a win, and they will.
Joey, the first of a big Sunday, the Giants and St Kilda at NG Stadium.
Yeah, I'd love to say St Kilda, but I can't. I think the Giants, they will look unbelievable against Gold Coast. If they play like that throughout the finals, watch out. I think they win comfortably against the Saints.
Have we got a Jesse Hogan update? Is that coming
It's
in
not
the next
good. I
it's not
asked
good.
the club officially on Monday night, and they said later in the week.
Wow.
As in, we'll have an announcement or at least a public declaration of where he's at. But it's not good. But whatever it is not good from a can he play again with impact in 2025 perspective.
I don't think
It's the bad foot.
they can't win it without him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a big statement. It's your key forward who's good for 3 or 4 goals a game.
It's really bad, unfortunately.
I think they win this game, but yeah, that's a big watch for them ongoing.
They might roll the dice and try and play him, but it's he's really struggling.
Gee, they've had some bad luck as a club, haven't they?
Oh,
really,
yeah.
finals time injuries and things like that. So you feel for them, but we'll find out more.
And then the first of a big two, Damo, the Bulldogs and Fremantle at Marvel Stadium. The winner plays finals.
Oh, look, I just need to do this to see my my Fremantle, I put it in inverted commas, hopes for the year. I tipped them to make the grand final at the start of the year. I'm going to tip them in this game, but I think it's a silly tip. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm just writing them out right to the end. Yep. Joey got it right last week.
I didn't think they'd win last week, but I am going to put the little Freo beanie on this week. I think they can cause an upset
There you go.
and surprise everyone and make the finals. They think they'll beat the Bulldogs.
Yeah, the Dogs' defense is the question mark and has been, but I think they've tightened that up in the last month. So I'm confident the Dogs can win and do a bit of a number.
Do you keep Jordan Croft in the team after his big debut last week?
I was pretty impressed with Big Crofty. We were
liked
right Sunday. We were all across him and what he did. What a great option again to blood someone who's got the bum fluff on the chin because he started getting a kick in the twos with that, so he left it there. But again, that's another fine for them. We've got sides that can't, like a Melbourne, who are just screaming out for a forward, and the Dogs have got too many.
And then Sunday night, the winner makes the top four.
What a
the
game.
loser could finish as low as 8th. Daisy, Brisbane hosting the Hawks Sunday night.
Yeah, I really think the Hawks have got it going, but likewise, Brisbane have been really good as well. Home patch.
Only 6 and 4 there this year.
Yeah.
Are you nervous? Are you a bit nervous?
Oh,
you
very
nervous?
nervous.
Are you?
Well, I'll ask you.
Eric hurts a lot.
In terms of
Never thought I'd hear that.
Just structurally.
No, Eric, no, Brisbane.
is Eric not playing?
No.
He's out for a month.
Oh, Lions will win.
That's nasty.
Love you,
guys.
Eka.
Lions just simply because of the Gabba, but I know that they're not winning there this year. But I feel that what they've done with responding to adversity this year has been really good, and there is an adversity component to this match, as in top fours at stake. So yes, Brisbane.
This is going to be a fun Sunday night. I think we need Sunday night footy every round next year. Looking forward to watching this one. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a great game. I'm just have to lean towards Brisbane at home, but not with a huge amount of confidence.
Yep.
And then we'll have a rub before this game. Do you want to tip it now or next Wednesday? The Wednesday night game.
Let's save it for
Let's
next
save
week.
it.
Yeah,
Save
There's so
our
much
tips.
anticipation around it.
We'll know the margin potentially that Gold Coast need to win by to finish in the 4.
Yes.
So we can discuss whether they get the margin.
On percentage watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
percentage
Good call.
Save
Good,
it.
Awesome.
good tease for
good
next
tease.
Wednesday.
Make sure you tune in next Wednesday
Or we
for the
can
big preview of the Gold Coast Hunts and Essendon, round 24 and a
Or
half.
we can just have next Wednesday off and play golf.
Gold Coast by 80.
Catch every game across Triple M on the Listener app, starting with the Thursday rub tomorrow night before Essendon and Carlton at the MCG. This has been Triple M Footy's Midweek Rub.